Well, hello there, everyone. It's Mazske Finance coming to you again. Once again, we have two very special guests. We have Helicopter Pilot Caleb and we have Lieutenant Bill. So we're going to continue the topic of credit cards. And from here, I'm going to turn it over to Bill. So go right ahead, Bill.
All right, happy to kick off the part two. We're going to get into a little bit more meaty stuff now, a lot less of the overview type thing, but what we're really looking for here in the exciting stuff, which is gathering up a bunch of points and setting yourself up to use a large amount of credits. So Caleb, quick question for you. What are welcome bonuses or sign-up bonuses, and how do those catapult your credit card rewards?
So sign-up bonuses for credit cards, typically there's a lot of different ones out there from different companies like American Express, Chase, Capital One, or Citi, or US Bank. Chase is kind of like what we would focus on for the most part, followed by Amex. And what a sign-up bonus is they're saying if you open a new credit card and you spend X amount of dollars in the first 3 months, we will give you a prize or some kind of incentive. So typically what you're going to see is, hey, you open this credit card, you put somewhere between $2,000 and $5,000 of spending on it in the first 90 days that you have it, and then you get some kind of incentive, normally in the form of credit card points, which may have a value of anywhere from $200 to $1,000 or even more, sometimes like $1,500 value for points.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good then, because I've done quite a few of these with sign-up bonuses, especially when I was, renovating my triplex. And some of my best cards would give me spend maybe $3,000 or $5,000, and I get 100,000 points once I complete that spending within 3 months. And 100,000 points, that can pay for several airplane tickets right there alone.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Caleb, you hit on Chase a little bit and why we want to start with them first. Can you explain why you would want to start with a Chase card or Chase cards and not go with a company like Amex or Citi, even if they have maybe what you would consider a better welcome bonus?
Yeah, definitely. That's an important question for anybody that's fairly new to this game. And the reason that we're going to start with Chase is because of something called the 524 rule. You can Google it, 5/24 rule. And basically all that is a rule where Chase is the most restrictive of how many credit cards they will allow you to have and still give you more credit cards. So we're going to start with Chase until we kind of fill up their full restriction, which in this case is 5 credit cards within the last 24 months. Once we do that, we can't get any more Chase cards. And there's a lot more good ones that we would like to get, but we can only get those 5 within a 24-month period. After that, we can move on to Citi or Amex or US Bank or any company that has other delicious, awesome sign-up bonuses for us, because they are not as restrictive. So the order that you do it in matters because it affects the total amount of sign-up bonuses you're able to get.
Yeah, good stuff. So I'll caveat that to the 524 rule is 5 new credit cards in the last 24 months. So it doesn't care about what you got before those last 24 months. And for anybody wondering, the easiest way to check your 524 status is to get a free Credit Karma account. Credit Karma is not a sponsor of this YouTube channel. I'm just telling you the easiest way to get it for free. So use Credit Karma, go on there, and you can look in your credit report and go down to the hard inquiries section, and it will show you the last 24 months and just have them listed as line items. And you can count how many credit cards you've opened. And that's the easiest way to do it. And after 24 months, they disappear off your hard inquiries. And we touched on how inquiries affect your credit score a little bit in the past, but nobody cares how many credit cards you have open if they're older than 2 years old. That doesn't affect your credit score.
All right. Hey, one quick thought about this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you get a business credit card, because I have some Chase business cards because I'm a real estate investor like you guys are, they do not count towards the 524 for the most part, correct?
That is correct.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, so you can definitely slip in some business card sign-up bonuses in between your, we commonly refer to the 524 slots as slots. So you can sort of slip in those extra business card sign-up bonuses in between those 524 slots.
Yeah, and another important part about that is even though they don't count against your 524 status, if you are at or over 524, say you've got 6 cards open in the last 24 months, you will not be able to open a Chase business card. But, and I know we all love real estate, so let's touch on this a little bit. Mortgages and new lines of credit through credit card companies are not created equal. They are not the same thing. So I know I talked about it a little bit before. I had 7 mortgages that I started last year on rental properties. Those do not count towards your 524. I had not opened any new credit cards in the last 24 months. So I was able to get Chase Inc. business card like you were talking about, Mark. And you can, if you have a business, great, but you can use yourself as a sole proprietorship if you have business-like expenses such as real estate.
Yeah, this all sounds pretty good to me because I know all of us, we really love credit cards. So, all right.
Bill and Mark, I have a next question for you guys. So I think some people, they're vaguely aware of the existence of credit card rewards and credit card churning and all the different nicknames for it. And I think a lot of people would rather just have their, 1% cashback or 2% cashback card because they figure, it all comes out in the wash. Like they'll probably do just as good with that. But what percentage would you guys say you tend to get in rewards from like a sign up bonus as a proportion of your spending? So, I mean, is it more than 2%? Is it more than 3%?
Yeah, that's a good question. I know we said it was a little bit dependent on the company and the amount of the sign-up bonus. They've actually all gone up significantly over the last 24 months, basically, since COVID started. Part of that is because of devaluation, but the other part is because credit card companies are having a hard time not only keeping previous applicants, but getting new ones. So they've increased these sign-up bonuses. And they can be, right now, I know there's a offer on an Amex card that's 150,000 points for somewhere in the neighborhood of $10,000 in spend. And that's a 15% return on your money.
Yeah. And so I guess that's a good segue into the next question. And I would actually add to that some of the smaller bonuses, we definitely have seen 15, 20, 25, 30% returns on some of them where, maybe you're spending $2,000, but you can get like $600 worth of bonus. But Bill, that's a segue into my next question for you. How can somebody meet a $10,000 bonus in 3 months? Like, unless they're spending actually over $3,000 a month just on that credit card, like how can a normal person possibly do this?
So there's a couple of different ways to do this. And normally for most people, the only thing I recommend them to do is just to spend what we call organically, which is spend you would normally do. We talked about it during the part 1, which is don't start buying random stuff. You don't want to go out and buy a new exhaust system for your car with your credit card that you weren't planning on buying, or a turbo setup, or whatever it is that you wouldn't normally buy, but now you have an excuse, whatever you want to call it, to spend 10 grand. You don't want to do that. Some of the easiest ways are there's not too many places that allow you to do this, but there are mortgage companies that allow you to pay your mortgage with a credit card. If you don't have a mortgage and you have rent, some places will allow you to pay rent through credit cards. There's other ways to do that. You can actually pay your taxes with a credit card, which is one of my favorite ways to meet sign-up bonuses, because I just claim max exemptions on my W-2 so that my withholdings are super low. And then I use credit cards to pay my taxes and get points back that way. It kind of it more than offsets the cost of paying your taxes with a credit card. So those are some of my favorite ways to do it. Car insurance is another good one, especially if you can pay 6 months or a year up front. I think all car insurance companies will let you pay with a credit card. So that's another good way to get a couple of grand, especially if you have multiple vehicles.
Yeah, definitely. And then what about for like real estate investors that may be watching this channel and maybe thinking about how they could strategize? Like, what would be some ways that real estate investors could take advantage of their house buying activities to meet some sign-up bonuses?
I'm going to let Mark take that one because I know he's bought a lot more stuff for his houses than I have because he has so many more. So what do you think, Mark?
Okay, sure. Yeah, a couple different things. So I mentioned to you guys, when I had my local properties, I renovated my triplex specifically where I spent a lot of money on 3 different apartments. So I churned through probably 4 or 5 credit cards basically just buying materials for those 3 apartments. But since then, with my other properties, when the opportunity arises, and I don't think I've taken full advantage of this like I potentially could, but something I've done for my out-of-state properties, if I know I need to get an appliance like a stove or refrigerator, and maybe I'm getting it from Lowe's, I've done 2 different things. One, I've called Lowe's to order it, and I've asked them, can I get that 10% military discount over the phone like this? And they've said yes, because they can pull it up on the computer and verify it. And then I pay with my credit card, even though my property manager is the one getting it put into the house, I'm still buying the appliance. So I'm getting credit card points from that. And something I want to explore as I'm rehabbing houses, and a lot of my houses are getting brand new flooring put down, they're getting paint. Could I pay for the flooring and the paint with my own credit card? Because if I can, it's win-win. The property manager does no longer need to bill me for it. I can take care of it myself, and I can just rack up credit card points that way.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
good stuff. Caleb, I know we've probably missed a few. What are some of your other favorite ways to meet minimum spend on cards that we haven't talked about?
So one that I've been doing a lot recently is appraisals and inspections. So I've been, just where we're at in life now as investors, my wife and I, we're buying rental houses on a relatively regular basis. And every time we do, there's an inspection, which lately has been costing about $330, and an appraisal, which costs about $650. So that right there is $1,000 on a credit card towards, a $3,000 sign-up bonus in 3 months. And then, I'll stick it in my wallet and spend on our normal stuff. And it gets into kind of a behavioral finance aspect that I realize for me personally, and, everybody's a little different. For me personally, I succumb to temptation to rationalize purchases that I may not otherwise, because I know I'm getting, this extra 20 or 25% kind of effective discount on those purchases for the sign-up bonus. But if I actually spend extra money as a result, then that negates the whole point of doing the strategy to try to move ourselves financially ahead. So for that reason, I personally, for me, am happy to put that towards some kind of spending like a mortgage or tax payments or something that may have a 2 or 3% fee, because I know I'd rather take a little 2 or 3% hit on that 25% that I'm getting back in order to not go spend 25% more than I otherwise would have.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good point. And for people who aren't real estate investors or who don't have these major expenses, there are plenty of other ways to meet the bonuses too. One of my favorites is, and this is kind of what people would consider a hassle, but change all of your monthly bill payments or subscriptions, whatever, to that new credit card. Sure, it may take you, an hour or something to log into all the sites and do it, or you can just do it gradually over the course of a week after you get the card. But put everything on there: your cell phone bill, your internet every month, your Netflix, your Disney Plus, whatever you got, right? Put all of those on there. $15 here or there may not seem like a lot, but when you've swapped all of your payments over, you're going to probably, for most people, be somewhere in the neighborhood of an extra $500 to $1,000 minimum over the course of 3 months, which goes a long way towards meeting that. And then to remember to just use that new card for everything, right? You go grocery shopping, or your significant other goes grocery shopping, when do you take that card with you? And it's just a habit of that's what you're working on at that point. And it's a lot easier to spend. Most of them are, like you said, somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,000 or $4,000 in 3 months, which is not difficult to do if you follow all these tips.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. All right, Mark, that's all the time we have for part 2 of this series. There's definitely a lot more to cover about how to do this, but until next time. And Mark, take it away.
Yeah, until next time. Thanks so much, gentlemen. And for Mazske Finance, Helicopter Pilot Caleb and Lieutenant Bill, we appreciate you watching. If you have any questions for any of the 3 of us, especially the 2 experts, because I'm not a credit card expert, even though I've used credit cards now to get points and take a lot of free vacations and so on. So for all 3 of us, thank you for watching, and Mazske Finance is signing out.